Dear students, in this lecture we will learn about the concept of production and production function. What is production? What is the definition? What is the meaning of production? It is an activity that transforms inputs into outputs, that changes inputs into outputs. Therefore, production means an activity that leads to transforming of inputs into outputs. In short, we can say transforming inputs into output this activity is known as production. The inputs in production, they are also known as factors of production. These factors of production are land, second factor of production labor, third is capital, fourth one is entrepreneur. Organization. Besides this, the production involves use of particular raw material technology etc. Now, these factors of production, these inputs used in production process have different features. We will discuss one by one the features of these factors of production. Number one, features of the land. Land, it is fixed in supply. In other words, we can use the term perfectly inelastic in supply. To the whole economy. When we talk about the whole economy, then this land, it is perfectly inelastic in supply, means its supply cannot be increased. And this land, it is one more feature is that it is original factor of production. As it is to be provided by nature, Therefore, it is original factor of production. This land, it is heterogeneous. Heterogeneous in terms of fertility. Barren land. Some land is more fertile for a particular crop, cultivation of crop, and the same land may not be fertile for other type of crops, such as, for example, some land is fertile for cultivation of rice, other land is fertile for the cultivation of, for example, maize or pulses. Means the absence, the fertility of land, it varies from area to area, from place to place. Or some land is barren land. Now we will try to learn about the features of labor. Labor, it is original factor of production. Original and active factor of production. And this labor, it is also heterogeneous in terms of efficiency, in terms of skill. Some laborers may be skilled and some may be unskilled. We can say that the absence of every labor is not same. It varies from person to person, and this labor, it involves mental and physical effort of a worker in the production process. And this labor, it is a variable factor of production. We will learn this, what is fixed factor and what is variable factor, in the coming lecture. Now, feature of capital. Capital, it includes machinery, tools, equipment, etc. And this capital, it is a man-made factor of production. जैसा कि लैंड एंड लेबर वो नेचुरल है and original factor of production or capital, which includes machinery, tools, and equipment. It is a man-made factor of production, and this capital it is passive factor because its use depends upon the labor. The use of this capital, machinery, tools, and equipment is only functional when it is operated by labor. And this capital, in the short run, it is fixed. And the fourth factor of production, which is entrepreneur, 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 it is a person, a skilled person, a knowledgeable person having a knowledge of particular field. Thus, he is able to organize, to coordinate other factors of production. That is the entrepreneur who coordinates the other factors of production to produce some particular commodity. Now, the other inputs that is used in the production process is a particular raw material and also use of technology. For example, to produce rice, the inputs are seeds, fertilizers, this is the raw material, and besides this we need other inputs such as land, labor, capital. Now we will define the production function. Before that, I will tell you that the price paid to the labor is wage, that is known as wages, and price paid to the land, labor to the land, that is known as rent for its use in the production process. and price paid to the use of capital is known as interest. And the entrepreneur whose income is in the form of profits, or he may be given a salary per month. I will repeat it. The price paid for labor for its use in production process is known as wages. The price paid for land for its use in the production is known as rent. And price paid for capital for its use in production is known as interest. And the price paid for entrepreneur, that is in the form of profits or in the form of salary. Now, what is production function? We will define it. Production function it shows a technical or relationship between inputs and outputs. Or we can say it is a mathematical statement of technical relationship between inputs and output. Inputs, that is factors of production. For example, we will write a production function of a particular commodity as Q X, where Q is the level of output or quantity of output X function of land I will denote the land by N, labor, capital, entrepreneur, raw material, time, technology, etc. The production function which shows a technical relationship between inputs and output. And this is the production function of output X, where Qx shows the quantity of X produced or level of output X produced with the help of these inputs, such as land. N is land, L labor, in economics capital, it is denoted by K is entrepreneur, R is raw material, T is time, and this small t is technology used in the production process. And this production function, it generally takes the form of labor and capital, because this land, it is kept as constant, it is perfectly elastic in supply to the whole economy. And this labor, it varies, it changes with the change in the level of output. Capital, it also changes with the change in the level of output, though it remains fixed in short run. That we will discuss later what is short run production function, what is long run production function. And this raw material, it is also kept considered as a constant for every unit of production of particular commodity. For example, we have to produce car. For example, Alto car. This Alto car, its production involves every unit of Alto car involves the same raw material such as metal, rubber, that is tires, leather for seat covering. This remains same for every unit of this Alto car. Or for example, production of this marker, it requires the constant value of raw material such as ink, plastic for every unit of marker. Therefore, it is kept as constant, it is not taken into final production function. Therefore, the final general form of this production function is level of output. It is a function of labor capital besides land, raw material, technology, time, etc. For example, this X, it is a production of cell phone. And the quantity of this cell phone, Q, where X is a cell phone, it is a function of, for example, to produce 1 unit of cell phone, 1 unit of cell phone, it needs 4 units of labor and 6 units of capital. And this 1 unit of cell phone, or this production of cell phone, it is a dependent variable. Its production depends upon use of labor, capital, and its raw material. Therefore, this side, that is labor and capital, these are independent variables. And this labor and capital, they have the features like it is variable factor. In economic sense, variable factor is that factor whose supply is elastic in short run. And in technical sense, variable factor is that factor which changes, whose supply changes, whose use changes, means in terms of quantity, with change in level of output. Similarly, for capital, it is defined as a fixed factor in production in case of short-run production function. It is a fixed factor. In economic sense, fixed factor is that factor whose supply is inelastic in short run. Inelastic supply in short run. And in technical sense, capital, which is fixed factor in short run, fixed factor is that factor which does not change with the change in level of output. And there is increase in level of output or decrease in the level of output of a particular commodity in the short run, the value of capital does not change. That is, it is fixed factor. I hope you have understood these basic concepts in production and in production function. And our next lecture will be on short run production function and long run production function. Thanks.